Hi, my name is Lynette Barker. I use the Class Notebook Creator to make a book for each of the Stage 3 classes I'm currently teaching in the library. If you're a high school teacher, you'd probably create one book for every year that you teach, every class. If you're a primary school teacher, you are probably looking at just one book for your class. And to get started, simply click on Create a Class Notebook. The first thing you'll do is name the book. I think being consistent with your naming is really important, but that could be the librarian in me. I give it the name of the actual class and I add the year as well. Next, so you simply can see how easy it is. We're just following the prompts. Notebook overview is reminding you what you'll see inside. There's a collaboration space where you can all add and work together. The content library is locked to the teacher and it's all written here if you forget and you want to go back and read it. And there's the student notebooks. The names you enter in a moment, each child you enter will receive their own notebook within the class notebook. Previously, I'd had to create a separate complete notebook for every child, or the child would, and then I ended up with 30 books opened. In this instance, with the Notebook Creator, I have one book with multiple sections, so it's quite contained. I do add the class teacher in so that they have full access to look, and I guess I use that a little bit as well as trying to encourage the teachers to join me on the journey of using OneNote. Start typing, and any teachers with the name that you type in, they look for it in the Active Directory and they offer it to you. The alternative is to type the full email in. If you decide later on that you want to add other teachers, such as executive or supervisors, you do have the option to come back, so don't worry too much if you forget someone. The same with the students. You can type them all in individually. Once you start typing, it'll look for the students. If there are two students with the same name, it'll offer them both, and you can just select which one it is that you need. If you have a bulk list of the students' emails, you can also copy and paste that in there. Designing your student space, probably worth putting a bit of thought into this before you get started. The Creator offers you straight up handouts, class notes, homework and quizzes. They think they're quite standard. To be honest, I don't use any of those. So when I'm working through it, I uncheck the boxes because I do not want them included. And I'll say add more, and I'll add the names of the sections that I'd like to create. I usually work through the KLAs, and you can add as many there as you like. Maybe an assessment one. It's up to you. Originally you had to lock them in here, but that has since changed, and the feature is that you can go back if you need to and reorganize them. Of course, the students can always add them in themselves as well. I guess this is you setting a standard across the class, and you know that every student at least begins with what you want them to have. This is a nice preview now of what the book will look like. And when you're happy with that, you think it's okay, you can click Create. So it doesn't take too long. It depends, I guess, on how many names are in there, what your internet speed is like. I know currently we're talking about having a class notebook for the students as a workbook, but the benefits of having it all together, I know teachers are now talking about having a class notebook as their assessment book, and that almost becoming an e-portfolio. So it says here we're done. It's year 6M. There's the link that I can send to the students, which I do, so I copy and paste that and send it out as an email. If I open my book, this is what it looks like. Sorry, I have quite a few open. I'm just going, you can see how much I love OneNote. And down the bottom here, you can see 6M 2015. Still syncing at the moment. When you first do this, it will take a while. As the students start to populate it with their work, it's going to take a while to sync as well. So here you'll see 6M. You'll see there's a welcome page. It has in here a few different options for you to read. So I guess there's a little bit of information looking at Office and Sway. You can either look down the side here or across the top. Here's our collaboration space. It's explaining how to use it. To go back up to the top level of our navigation, or you can use this little green arrow, or I can pop down here and use the side menu. So if I'm going back up to my full menu, I've got collaboration space, content library, remembering collaborations where we can all jump in. Perhaps I could put a page and ask children to comment. I may have one here, for example. This is my Library 4R page, and in the collaboration space here, I popped in a picture and asked children to comment on it. So everyone could jump in and have a go. I also had a page here saying, please give me opinions as opposed to facts. It's as broad as you want to make it with your imagination. Going back down to the one I created a moment ago, my Year 6M one. So once I have my content library, this is where I'm going to put documents I do not want the children to change. It may be knowledge, it might be worksheets, could be documents that I want them to look at that I don't want altered and I don't want them to write on it. They can copy and paste from here, and they can pop it over in my in their own book, but they cannot write on it. Here, it's where the students now jump into their own area. I can see all of the students' names, and that's why I like the side view, because I think once you have all the students listed, and I'll go back up again and show you one that I'm using. If I go up here to 4R again, you'll see all the students are listed. And the term that I only had one section, it was a new class learning about OneNote, and you can see if I wanted to jump into Ryan's, I could read what he's doing. He was looking at something on the State Library, Australian history. So I like the fact that on the side here I can see all the names listed. If I go back up, you can see that they go across and drop down here, but it's just a bit I just prefer the sidebar. It's up to the individual. Here you can see in my content library some work that I want the children to look at, want to think about. There's a link. I get a couple of games I want them to play, and they can't change that, but they can take a copy. So they can copy it. Ava could go across to her class, her name, and she can take a copy of that to look at. What I do when I program, because I also program in OneNote, is I put all my resources for the term on one page, and the kids could then take a copy, and I would put that's my program, I would take that and copy it. I would pop it into my content library, and you can see here now in the content library are all the resources for the term. So it was in my program originally. I've popped it in the content library, and the children can actually take a complete copy of that if they wanted to their own book, but they really don't need to because it's here for them to look at anyway. Some people, I guess, might use the content library to actually write their program. I don't, because I teach across 6 grades, and not all children are using OneNote, the younger children, the kinders and that. So for my for my personal program, I have a separate book. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into how to use OneNote Book Creator. You really have to get in and have a play. If you decide that you do need to go back and alter it, you need to go back into Office 365. Go back into the Creator, wherever that link may be, and you'll notice here the options to add or remove students, add or remove teachers, and you simply go through and follow the prompts. You can see there's a couple I've made, so it's saying which one did I want to adjust. So I hope that's been helpful. Get in, have a play. It probably is the only way to learn. There'll be a lot of videos online on YouTube. This is just, I guess, a personal look at how I've used it. Thanks.